actually our sponsorship flyers. Sorry, people are trying to come in too here. Man, all. I have my sponsorship levels that I can email out to anybody, but this is our sponsorship form. So if you need a sponsorship form, I have a couple printed here. I can email you the PDF. I can get you copies whenever you need. So
we're not in competition with other sober livings or other programs like ours. It's all of our kind of programs that have been around that actually want sobriety, and we are now in competition with the state. We are in competition with the state because the state, and it seems this way, the state really doesn't want anyone to be sober. And so what we are in competition with is whether a drug addict is going to decide to go to a sober living or to stay high and get a free house. And we are in competition with people that are given free homes and allowed to go to programs where they can use drugs. And so you would think for us, for instance, you would think a company like mine, I've been in business 15 years, you would think that this is an all-time high, that the amount of people that are suffering from drug addiction, drug and substance abuse, you would think that my doors would be packed with a waiting list. We have more spots open now than we've ever had. And it's shocking, and it just kind of happened recently, but because nobody wants to pay for housing anymore. So my housing requires people to go to work and be independent and pay their own way, or a family to contribute, or sometimes we give scholarships to get people on this. Is exactly what we're raising money for is now to bring people in that can't pay right away, but will be working towards independence. And we're the only. There's not many programs left like ours that are actually charging a person in recovery for rent, and we feel it's pretty damn important for somebody in recovery to be at the third or fourth month of their life in recovery and pay their own way. We think that's really important, not because we need the money so much as, I mean, we'd love to just raise money and let people live for free, but it doesn't seem to be advantageous for somebody's self-esteem to live for free all the time and not have to work and be an independent human. So with this run, it's kind of a very important thing that we're able to raise enough money to let people come in and go through our process. And that process being, from dependence to independence. And without as many families coming right now as we always do to be able to afford our top end program, we're having to raise money so people can come in and just do sober living. And it's important right now to understand what we're in competition with methadone clinics, we're in competition with Suboxone clinics, and we're in competition with the housing first policies of our state. So it's important to understand that it's not us competing against like companies like ours. It's us competing against our own state, our own government that wants to give away money and let people use. And I have no clue why they want to do that, but they just do. And yeah.
Yep. A couple more things. We could really use help getting posters out in communities. So if you could take, if you would be willing to spend a couple hours, yes, thank you. If you'd be willing to spend a couple hours or more. Annie was out pounding the pavement today down in Auburn, and she canvassed the entire town. So big posters are the ideal. I always lead with this when I go out. I'm always hopeful that there's a spot for the big one. But then if there's maybe a smaller spot, then I'll use the smaller one. So lead with the big one because then more people are going to see it, especially when they're driving by companies. But like Safeway, Fred Meyer, those kinds of places have big bulletin boards. But little towns like Auburn that Annie went to, Enumclaw, about everybody has a small little town with little mom and pop shops. A lot of places will let us hang these. So the more we can get out, the better. Please take as many as you'll get out and let us know. Like Annie took notes of where she went, and we're going to share it amongst ourselves so we know what's already covered and we know what still needs to be covered. So we could really use your help with that. And then here's the leafers coming on. And then we have our one more thing is our friends. I think there was two things. I'm remembering one. Our friends and family scholarship bucket. funds or sponsorship
Yeah.
level.
Yeah.
It's something that the Wiggins started a couple years ago in thinking of how we can get this entire community to kind of go towards the same thing. Can you explain what this is? And
Well, it's just that we're out asking people to donate for scholarship for Run for Recovery. And I just thought a couple years ago, we should be the biggest supporter of any program we have.
Maybe
So we started
somebody
the
else fundraising type.
Battlefield. So it's just seeded with $1,000. And then we were our biggest sponsor last year, Run for Recovery. We
did it for the auction too.
yeah,
And he says we, he means the people that come to Solution Group, the people that have been helping us.
Not, yeah,
Friends.
not us, no.
yeah.
Well, he was the biggest.
As a contributor, we just thought that would be a pretty good representation of Battlefield if we were our own biggest sponsor. So you could go on the website. Don't ask Becky how you do that, but
You
It's
go to
already-
the sponsor,
it's already been started. So
Button
you
at
could
the
just
top.
go and contribute whatever you feel, and then that we become biggest contributor to our own event.
Yeah, and it's a great thing to send to your extended family too. For those of you who have grandparents or aunts and uncles that are in the wings, maybe they're not going to come and participate in the event, but maybe they want to participate in some way. And so that would be a way they could shoot. Maybe they want to give $100 donation. That could go into that bucket and count towards this collective Battlefield friends and family. Yep. So hopefully that makes sense. I'll make a post.
just under the sponsor tab at the top, if you click on sponsor and then you scroll down to the bottom, you find it.
Okay. Okay. One more thing is the mob. So the mob is the Moms at Battlefield. So all of you moms, you are invited. So we gather on Zoom on the Wednesdays following. So you new moms really want to invite you to this. Tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. So it's on Wednesdays. We follow the same schedule as solution groups. So our solution groups are the first and third. Hi guys. The first and third Tuesday of the month is our solution groups. Mob, it follows that same schedule the next day. So at 11 a.m., we just have our coffee together on Zoom from wherever you're at. Some of the moms will coordinate their lunch hours during that time and join us. Sometimes moms can just come here and there, not necessarily every week. So we invite you, no matter if you can come every time or just here and there as you can. It's just our opportunity to get to know each other. We just spend 1 hour together. We get to know each other more on this call. We talk about the topic from the night before. It's just one of our favorite things. So we invite you, and then quarterly we meet in person. So we just had our one in March. Our next one is on June 3rd. So mark your calendars. It's going to be in the evening. Flip swap. So in March it was in the morning at 11. In June it's going to be 6 p.m. because we have different moms with different schedules. So we're trying to kind of rotate and accommodate all. But that's Moms of Battlefield. So we want you all to mark your calendar for June 3rd in the evening. We want you there. But tomorrow, if you can join us on Zoom, just shoot me a text. I can give you the Zoom link so you can join us tomorrow. So I think that was it. I just feel like there's still, if there's something else, it was the drawing. That's what it was. So all of our early birds that have already registered as of last night at midnight, I have your information. I'm going to do a random draw, maybe at the end. We'll just give the last 5 minutes to draw the winner of that. There's a $150 gift certificate to Fleet Feet for one of those people. So I will draw a winner, and you don't have to be present to win. So that's just everybody registered. Okay, think I'm good.
You haven't seen my son on Facebook doing CPR. It's a pretty good post. You guys gotta check it out. Ginny, stand up. Guys, just so you know, this is Ginny Burton. So Ginny's a friend of mine. We've been a lot of things. We've been friends and enemies and kind of it wasn't enemies, but it was something like that. And
Family rivalry.
yeah. But look her up, Ginny Burton. She's one of the strongest recovery advocates in Washington State, probably the most well-known and the most public recovery advocate in Washington State. She's also got a book called The Gabriel Plan, and you can pick it up on
That or Barnes and Noble, a whole bunch of Goodreads, Walmart.com.
so she's how many years sober?
13 years, 4 months, and 2 days.
Not as much. So like I said, she doesn't have as much sober time as me, but You know what I mean?
Just shy.
She just, you know what I mean? She's just never gonna catch me, but that's okay.
Climb mountains.
Yeah, that's true. She does climb mountains and eats better than me, so she might outlive me. And then, anyways, we'll be getting to her later too. We'll probably mix it up with her in a little bit too after the talk. But I just wanted to introduce her. Yeah, and anyone want to talk to her after or ask her some questions, you can. We spoke on a panel last Saturday. I don't know if some people were there, but one of these nonsensical things. So you know,
We seem to end up in a lot of those spaces. too.
Yeah. I call it
We're great though. You guys, we were both great.
Not a lot of egotistical, but we know.
Yeah. No, I call it a bunch of, this is kind of a phrase that I've coined, no one else will know. Oh, can we make sure that no phones tonight?
Forgot.
We want to kind of zone in and
That's all.
you know, one of the things that I really used to love about recovery meetings when I got into recovery was I liked the meetings when we went and it was small. You know, I used to like going to a small meeting and it got really serious and we got into stuff and I hope we can kind of emulate that tonight. Anyways, the panel, it was great, but I got this phrase that's just always in my head recently. It just kind of showed up one day and it kind of like, come on in, Marlisa.
There's a spot right up here, front if you want. This one.
And it's something that I kind of describe myself to, and also other people. And you might not understand what I mean, but like when I look around and I get in like this kind of world, it's like it's a bunch of what's telling people what's what. Okay, you see what I'm saying? In this world, we got a bunch of what's telling people what's what. I'm a what telling people what's what. You know what I mean? And I don't know how much I like being a what telling people what's what. So, anyways, that's what the panel was we were a bunch of what's telling people what's what, you know? We had the mayor, or no, not the mayor, but we had the police chief of Tacoma. We had a city council member of Tacoma. We had the man who runs the largest shelter in Tacoma. We had the prosecuting attorney of Tacoma. The prosecuting attorney, the guy that runs a 700-bed shelter. We had the legislator of Tacoma, that's a senator that represents that district. We had the city council member. We had the police chief, and we had the prosecutor. You know what they said to us? They said, the system's broken.
Yeah.
Now, I would argue they're the system. I would argue that when we kind of labeled what the system was, we would have to point out that it's the police chief, that it's the city council, that it's the prosecuting attorney. And they said they don't know what to do. I said, okay. And it's the legislator. They even went as far to say, if they tell you, if they say to us that they have answers, they're lying. That was a quote. You shouldn't trust me if I say that I have answers. Okay. Well, shit, what do we do? Now, I don't. I also argue that none of them ran on that platform. So far, I've met politician after politician. I'm going to meet another one tomorrow. I met politician after politician, and nobody's ever told me that when they get into the office, their hands are going to be tied and the system's going to be broken. Not one person in their campaign ever says, hey, you know, when I get in office, my hands will be tied and the system will be broken. But 100% of them tell me that now. Every one of them I meet. Sorry, hands are tied, the system's broken. I would love it for you to come to my program and then you call me and I go, hey, system's broken. Sorry. Thank you for the money though. Anyways, that's my rant about the panel. So a bunch of what's telling people what's what, you know, or we get nowhere. And Jenny and I spoke on it as part of our, I guess we were the experience. You know, it's a weird game helping and understanding this thing with for a long time in this state, it was drug addicts helping drug addicts. That was just how it was. And in fact, if you were a drug addict in this state and somebody dared to try to help you, and they weren't, you probably dismantled them. You probably told them, I don't want to hear anything that you have to say. And, you know, I'd also argue that, you know, that's kind of it's a weird thing. Like my mother died from cancer, and I imagine if somebody was trying to help her when she was going through that process that had never experienced cancer or lived through it and been part of it, would have been tough for her to listen. You know? So that brings me like this idea that and tonight, you know, we got some new people that are here for the first time in recovery. We got some parents that are new here for the first time, and so it's going to be a mix. I didn't come with I came to look at the audience and then kind of cater to what was going on. I usually kind of think a little differently before this. So there's a big talk in this state about what compassion is. You ever see when a guy sees another man get hit in the nuts?
Jesus.
You ever see it? What does a guy do when he sees another guy get hit in the nuts? No. Women laugh. Women laugh. Every man, when he sees another man get hit in the nuts, grabs his own nuts. He goes, oh, glad that wasn't me. Okay? But every woman laughs and thinks that shit's funny. Also, if you've ever the night went to the dishwasher and you're unloading the dishwasher and you leave that goddamn cupboard door open and you come up and hit your head on that shit, that's funny when you see somebody else do it, right? But if you've done it the night before, now you experience it again with that person. So we need this real idea of what compassion is in this state. It means we're the same. Compassion means we're the same, man. I understand you and I feel for you. It also means I can kind of guide you out of what you're doing because I feel for you. We're the same, but let's get it together, man. Let's do something a little different. You see? But in this state, it seems as if compassion means pity. They pity us. They make us lower than them. So the people that suffer from this in this state, they pity you. They feel sorry for you. They think you're less than. They think you can't get it together, so they got to pay for you. They think they got to have everyone else pay for you. They think they got to explain you away. They say you have a disorder. Does anyone in this room feel like they got a disorder? See, I think that, and they told us that we had a disorder. I think that's very offensive to tell me that I have a disorder. By the way, my name is Art. I'm an addict. I'm also not an addict, but when I want to be, I want to fucking call myself that. And I don't want anyone telling me not to. I don't feel that way today. So the first thing I want to say is like, I have compassion for you because we're the same. And I get it. But also,
His phone's on. Just double check.
it's always Marlisa.
It's not always me. Generalization.
In the beginning, we got into, and so tonight, I'm going to throw out a few topics, and then it's to drive a discussion here in a little while. And I haven't arranged it. Hey, get a better seat, Bailey. You're squished in over there, making the ladies uncomfortable.
Oh, I was gonna.
In the beginning, I went to 12-step recovery. I went to a meeting every day for 180 days, maybe more, 6 months. They said do 90 and 90. I was an overachiever. I said, you got to do 180 and 180. I went every day. I believed in it. I thought it was the only way. I told people it was the only way. I said, if you don't get a sponsor, and if you don't make it to a meeting every day, you're not going to make it. I knew that was the only way. About 2 years into my recovery, I discovered a book called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. I picked that book up and I read Power Now. I was sitting in a house in a living room with about 11 kids, and we were ranting about 12 steps. And one of the kids says, I hate those goddamn meetings. I'm not going to those meetings. And he started going on a rant about the religious part of 12 step and how he would never go to the meetings because he didn't believe in God. And there was a kid named Adam Yonker, and he was sitting next to me, and Adam Yonker said, hey, Chris, you got to put it down. And I looked at Adam and I said, what do you mean he's got to put it down? And he said, you can take your mind and put it down. And I thought that was a phenomenal statement. I go, what do you mean you can take your mind and you can put it down? So we could just take your mind and you can put it down. He said, it's in this book right here by Eckhart Tolle called Power Now. Well, I didn't like a kid in the room being any smarter than me, so I grabbed the book out of his hand and said, let me see that, son. And I went home and I read that book that night. And when I woke up in the morning, I read the book again. And so by the second day, I'd read Power of Now twice. And in that book, they said some things. They said pain is resistance to what is. And I started hearing that, and I didn't. And for me, that was a life changer right there. It said pain is resistance to what is. And if you look at people in pain, that day I started like an acid trip. I would walk around and I would see people in pain. And every time I would point it out, oh, look at something is, and they don't want it to be. Look at that. And it was remarkable that pain was resistance to it is. It was remarkable to me that I didn't know that I'd lived for 40 years on this planet and I never understood why people were in pain. But every single bit of pain is crying over spilled milk. I didn't know that. Everyone in pain is just crying over spilled milk. So we're like a bunch of infants crying over spilled milk. I wish my boss wouldn't have fired me. I wish that person wouldn't have broke up with me. I wish my son wasn't a drug addict. I wish it was different. I wish I had a different job. I wish it was sunny outside. I wish it wasn't raining. I wish there wasn't this line. I wish there wasn't traffic. And all of a sudden I found this peace because I learned that pain was this moment from event to acceptance. And to me, that was valuable information, especially because I was a poker player and I would sit at the poker table and I would find myself in pain, and it was a microcosm for life, you see? So at the poker table, when you are in pain, you do what's called go on tilt. In other words, you donate your chips to the guy sitting at the table. And you do that because you're suffering from resistance, you're suffering from non-acceptance, and you want to change how you feel immediately at the table. And so you want to win a pot right away, so you start forcing the issue. And you want to change how you feel, and you want something to just get lucky and win, and you have no patience, and all of a sudden you're on tilt and you lose your shit and you go home and you've lost all your money. But in life, it's kind of the same way. How many of us have went on tilt? How many of you kids in recovery have had one point, an event that you resisted? And because you resisted, you didn't know how to accept it. You didn't know how to get there. So you just went out and kind of sabotaged your own life over it. And I'd argue there's many of us in this room that got like a little button inside, a little kind of a clicking button that say, man, it's time for me to do some sabotaging shit right now. I have that. Luckily now when my switch flips to sabotage my life, it's with pizza, not drugs, you know? So now I find myself carrying this big, large, I'm in Vegas and I just lost a big tournament. Oh man, you can go get the largest pizza there outside the MGM. I'll go get this pizza that you have, and then I'll get the wings and I'll carry that back to my room and just, then you don't want to know what happens in there, you know. It's gross. It's gross. But I knew. So now mindfulness was the only way, and I knew it. Oh man, people got to learn mindfulness. If they don't learn mindfulness, they'll never make it. They'll never understand acceptance. They'll never understand resistance. They'll never understand regulation. They need to do this now. As time went on, different practices came about. We started studying internal family systems. Internal family systems is another form of kind of mindfulness, but in a different way. And then that became the only way. Oh, if you don't know internal family systems, you'll never make it. So it went from 12 step and then, well, but by the way, before 12 step, they told me church. They said, if you don't find Jesus, Art, you'll never make it. So one time, me and Angie, about 3 years into my recovery there, we were on Santa Monica Boulevard. And if you haven't been to Santa Monica and the pier down there, Jesus is right there at the end of the pier. He stands there playing the guitar. You guys ever seen that? Yeah. You can find Jesus at the end of the Santa Monica pier. Trust me. I've been there. Yeah, we have a picture. And I said, they told me I would have to find Jesus, and here this dude is, man. You know? They have something called the Dunning-Kruger effect. If you ever look that up, and it's this kind of theory or this kind of thing that says that we really believe we know something about something when we have a little bit of knowledge about something. And what it means is as you gain more knowledge about something, what you actually do is you know less about something. You see? So it'd be like if I told any of you, if I said to any of you, do you know how to drive a car? See, everybody in this room would probably say, of course I know how to drive a car. I know a lot about driving. And then I'd put you in a car with Jeff Gordon for about a minute and a half. And you'd realize that you know nothing about driving a car. Nothing. And that's the same way that this recovery thing kind of goes. And it's hard for me to say to my clients, hey, the more that I've gone on, the less I know. The less I know to be true. You know, my son today, he doesn't know. You know, my son doesn't know. So today, like he doesn't care about our mood. My son. He has no knowing of our mood. He doesn't read the room very well. You know what I mean? He just doesn't know. And so we're kind of down and a little somber today. We're a little tired. We were whatever. And then here he is out in the living room just just talking. He doesn't know to be quiet. He doesn't know that we're kind of down. He doesn't understand nothing. He doesn't know.
He's using.
The reason I'm saying this is that in this room tonight, and different from the panel, you know, when we did this panel the other night, we were in a room for people and everybody had to know. Everybody there was to tell each other what they knew. And it's a very contradicting thing to do what I do. It really is. And people always try to point out the contradictions of the things that I say. And it's because we're in this weird dichotomy, this weird kind of position where you're coming to me and I'm supposed to know. You know? And you're going, well, we want help from you. And then I'm going, well, I know, but I don't. And it's not a good business model to tell anyone that I don't know. And it's not that I don't know anything. It's that I don't know everything. And so tonight, the other thing after compassion is that I want to talk about doubt. You know, if I get real quiet with myself, what I find is that I am ran by a committee. Not just one part of me runs me. Not just one part of me makes decisions. There's a lot of different parts in here that are making decisions. You know, you ever say something to somebody and one part of you tells you to say that to somebody, but then another part of you says, I wish I wouldn't have said that to them. You see? What we have to understand is compassion for each other, is that we're all sitting in this room and what's happening is we're all ran by a committee and we don't know. But one of our strongest things is telling us what to do and that we do know. But behind that strong one, if you get real quiet and you close your eyes, let doubt creep in. Really. You see? And so if we can all have compassion and understanding, the next thing that we can get to is doubt. And I'm talking about doubt being a very good thing, not knowing. You see, not knowing is actually the key to happiness. Do you know what our country is suffering right now from? They're suffering from knowing. That's what they're suffering. One side knows they're right, and the other side knows they're right. And they're angry about it. And we lack compassion for each other. And it's mean, and there's no kindness, and people hate each other. And there isn't forgiveness being taught anymore. There isn't mindfulness being taught anymore. There isn't meditation and let's be kind and compassionate to each other. It's knowing. We are a country suffering from knowing everything when we actually know nothing. Angie, before we got here, she was looking at her Facebook and she goes, "Oh my God." And she goes, 200 babies a day fall on their head and get brain damage. And I go, what? I go, how do they know that? But listen, I said, how would they know that? And she goes, the way they would know. I go, how would they know that? And I go, do they go to all the hospitals that these babies went to and then follow them 6 months later to see if they're still damaged? And then I go, and 200 is a really round number. It's not 208. It's not 3. It's 2. And I go, what source are you getting that from? And I go, it's probably the donut company that's selling those fucking donuts for people's head. She goes, it is. I go, well, they're selling donuts. It's like me advertising the junk hauling business and going, 1,000 homeowners get bit by a spider that comes out of their junk pile every day. I mean, the owner's like, shit, I gotta get rid of this junk pile. Well, here I am. You don't get bit by a spider, do you? We are a people, our unhappiness. And, and I don't know if this is true, but I get a sense that since COVID and since we all came out of this, and since this country's divide and this state's divide and this political divide, I get a sense that we're all just a little bit unhappy. I get a sense that there's more unhappiness and more depression now than ever. And I also get a sense that it's coming from knowing. And what we need is to not know. Because I look at my son and he doesn't know. And you know what I'm worried about with my son? When he starts knowing. So I get really concerned about what my son is going to start knowing. Because right now he lives in wonder. Right now he lives in how he is. And so as I watch people in this recovery world and as I watch people help each other and I watch, it's very hard for me to help you. You're going to force me to take a position. You're going to force me to be a what telling you what's what. I don't want to be a what telling you what's what. I want you to figure it out. So now we need to define how we're even helping each other. What does it mean? What does it really mean that I help you? It means that I can see you, hear you, have compassion for you. Do I need to be able to steer you? Or do I educate you? You see, did Eckhart Tolle help me with that book? Well, he did at the time. Now I look at some of the stuff and go, that's nonsense. Just quiet your mind. It's loud in here. What do you mean quiet your mind? I just picture this guru that's got this quiet mind. It's like in there, it just goes, shh. It's like bullshit, dude. You got the same shit going on I do. And I learned that when I had a real difficult time in my life. I practiced mindfulness. I thought I had it. I told everybody, no, you just got to do a little more meditation, a little more breath work. Until your life goes to shit and it's scary. Then it gets real loud in here when it gets scary. It gets hard. It gets difficult. You see? So I don't know what you're going through, And it's not fear, this thing. It's not what's happening that we're scared of. It's what's going to happen that we're scared of. So when the guy walks into the woods, he's scared that he's going to see the bear tracks. Then he sees the bear tracks, right? And he goes, oh shit. Well, now he's not scared of seeing the bear tracks anymore. He's scared of seeing the bear. And now he's not scared after he sees the bear. He's not scared of seeing the bear anymore. He's scared the bear is going to grab him. Now the bear grabs him. He's not scared the bear is going to grab him anymore. He's scared the bear is going to rip him apart. You see? So we're always scared of what's next. That's a reason for our discontent here. Think about that's the reason why no matter how good we get it, it doesn't get quiet in here because we're still fearful. So this thing about us with each other and starting to actually find a room that we can actually forget this stuff and have doubt with each other. And actually, not doubt that's like I'm insecure and I'm doubtful, but actually, I doubt that my own mind is always the best counselor. That maybe my mind doesn't know everything about your mind. Maybe my mind doesn't know everything about your experience. I grapple with it with the people that want to give people a house. I grapple and I try to have compassion. I try to understand how we're the same. I try. And I know I don't try because I want to do anything. I just try because I don't want anger. And I try to understand the other side. And I don't know a room full of people anymore that have doubt. You see, what we're supposed to do in this room is to get together and talk about the other people that don't agree with us and how stupid they are. We're not supposed to be smart enough to sit in a room and go, maybe they're smart. We're not supposed to be in a room and say we don't know. We're supposed to get in a room and be a bunch of what's telling each other what's what. But let's get real. There's some real suffering in here for all of us. And if you don't understand, my friend Adam has been doing drugs and was here before at the last solution group. And since then he's went back out. I don't know, man. Some reason we're not the same, him and I. There, but for the grace of God go I. I don't know why he can't stop using crack cocaine after 40 years. I don't know. I don't know how to help him. And then you could go, well, I know how to help him. Okay, well, somebody already tried that on him. And it didn't work. So I don't know, tonight my talk, it really is more just about what I'm going through. And what I'm going through is that I'm okay now with doubt. I'm okay now, and I'm starting to really get it, that no matter how much I think I know, I'm not going to understand. That this not knowing thing is just what we're stuck with. And this fear thing, can only be combated by a faith thing. And I don't care if it's God or Jesus or whatever you believe in, but faith. And I'm just saying faith that it's going to be okay. And a lot of my life right now, and I've always only talked about what I'm going through in life, and I share my current experience. And my current experience has to do with those things right now. Is how do I find more compassion? How do I get rid of my anger and find a little less knowing? And how do I remember that doubt equals humility? That when we see other people and they have no doubt that they're right, they lack humility. And maybe that we all need a little bit of humility. And maybe it's more and more difficult now to find anything that we can consider true. You give me a position, I'll help you create doubt in that position. If you have no doubt in your position, just tell me it. I'll help you create doubt. Promise you. So you tell me what's right and how it is, I'll help you create doubt in that. And I hope that we can start doing that for ourselves, not to be scared and insecure people, to be humble people. And to go, yeah, I'm going to do this. This is the move that I'm making. This is what I think is right, but it could be wrong. Help us get rid of that with each other. I know what's going on in everyone. God, you can just tell in this world with the uptake of trizepatide and these Ozempics and these things. Nobody was talking about body problems, but a lot of people are buying that shit. So how many people were sitting in silence suffering over their body image? Many, many, many people. Because it's not the people that are 300 pounds buying this stuff. It's people that we would think don't need to lose any weight that are buying it. Those of us that are 300 pounds are just, we need it for survival. I'm trying to get my life insurance to actually take me on. Then I see this woman, she's 120 pounds. Oh, what? You're taking it? Why? Oh, you're suffering. You're suffering. So there is that. And right now, what I see in this country and what I see in this room, what I see everywhere There's a lot of people suffering, but no one wanting to have the humility to show doubt and insecurities. We don't get in rooms and talk about our insecurities. I gotta tell you that with my son, I'm scared as hell. And it tests my faith. I have an experience where I look at my son and I want to love him more than anything. All I want to do is love him, but I get so scared to love him because I think of my creator, I think of who it is, and I say, I don't trust you. I don't trust you're not going to take him from me. So how far can I go with that love and trust that he's not going to take it? So I get scared to love my own son. It ain't as easy as everyone just says. It scares the hell out of me. And now I have compassion for the parents in this room that I probably lacked before. Because I know what kind of fear you have when your kid starts going through these drugs and these problems that they're going through. So the discussion that I'd like, and if anyone needs help tonight, it's about these things. It's about not knowing. It's about faith. It's about compassion. It's about doubt being humility. If I look at these new kids that are here, I can't tell you how to quit drugs, man. Well, you know that? Another person can never tell you how to quit drugs. They can't. That's between you and that. And we don't know if it's pain that's going to help you. We don't know what it is. They always say, well, you just go to meetings, you'll want to quit doing drugs. Well, I know thousands of people that went to meetings and still do drugs. Well, you just go do that. You won't want to do drugs. I've seen everyone do that and they still want to do drugs. And I can't tell you anyone in this room how to not do drugs. We're not a program sitting here telling you how to not do drugs. We can teach you some things. We can hope that that leads to less suffering. We can hope that that leads to not needing to escape your experience. We can do things like that, but we don't know. That's for you to fight. That's between you and that. My father ended my addiction. That's just how it went for me. It wasn't me. I was very fortunate that he put a stop to it. He let me have no way around it. That was it. Excellent. All right. Some more people suffering from substance abuse. God, I hate when they say that shit. Hi, I'm Art. I have a substance use disorder. Yeah. But it didn't kick in until I used the substance. Hi, my name is Angie. I have an Amazon shopping disorder. Didn't know, was clueless that it even existed before Amazon. I mean, this Amazon's really causing a lot of disorders. You ever hear of a disorder that's caused by the thing that's named? I mean, really? You have an opiate disorder. When did you get it? Well, I got it when I took opiates. Ooh, that's convenient. God. So opiates cause an opiate disorder. Yeah.
Yeah, no shit.
Oh. Well, shit, you shouldn't do opiates. Well, there it is. So drugs cause the drug disorder? Okay, I thought it was trauma. Jenny, how many people do you know that have gotten sober in your circle that got sober through trauma therapy?
No,
Zero. And you probably know what, 10,000 people?
Honestly, all right, hate.
Yeah.
It used to be okay in some circumstances.
The only time you used to hear the word trauma was when you watched one of those emergency medical TV shows. Yeah.
Somebody's on a
Yeah, ER. You watch ER, you're like, we got a trauma case. And they'd be wheeling the guy in. He's on his last leg. Now we all flip it around like, yeah, what's my trauma? Hey, we have the same trauma? You want to sit and talk? We'll trauma bond. Some kid said that to me. I go, what the fuck? Kid said, they go, we're trauma bonding. Now, that's not to say there ain't trauma. Of course there is. There's deep, deep shit that happens to us as human beings. There's shit that should never happen to human beings that happen to human beings.
Can I interject with that
Yeah.
statement? 'Cause I'm sorry, that's probably not protocol here, but. I don't think that things shouldn't happen to people. I think that the things that do happen are intended to help us build skills and become stronger and to be able to serve others.
Yeah.
So I think it's all perspective, and I think that when we put negative connotations on those things, we're not recognizing the fact that those things are really put in place to help us to be able to serve as many. people
Yeah,
as we can.
I agree to some extent, but like sometimes I think just some shit can just go pretty far. I've seen a human being hanging in a garage. I wish I wouldn't have. I don't know how much stronger it's maybe, but I seen that human hanging in a garage and I can't get that image out of my house. When you see a human being with purple and peed themselves and defecated,
And my husband cut my son down from our tree in the backyard.
yeah,
2024.
it's brutal. So we can pretty extensive stuff. Anyways, let's flip. So yeah, if you're new, if you got questions, that's not to say that some of these things that we talk about in this room can't be useful if adopted by the user. Mindfulness is a useful tool if it can be at a certain level. For me, what I'm saying is that just for me personally, there became a thing of called diminishing marginal returns. No matter how much I meditate, I can't get the fear of my son dying out of my head. It's there. I live with it. People can't get rid of some certain things, no matter how much mindfulness you put on it. And I've seen people do a lot of different things and work really hard recovery programs and still use drugs. So maybe I just don't understand their experience the way I think, and I don't have the experience of being them. I don't know what it's like inside every human. I only know what it's like inside me. But I do understand. Okay. If you're new, if you want to talk, if you want to ask questions, I like to mix it up a little bit tonight. Only thing I want to get across is that we've went through all the gamuts of all this stuff, and it's all good stuff. AA's got good stuff. Mindfulness is good stuff. But I just find myself currently in this position of not knowing and then going, okay, but your expectations of me that is I'm supposed to know something and tell you something, and then that's supposed to no. You're gonna figure it out. If I can aid and we can help people not use drugs and we can help people give them a place to be where they can find that lack of temptation or that security that doesn't put them out there and expose them to drugs for a while and give them the chance for their brain to go and learn something. That's what we're doing. But every kid in this room, every addict here knows that it's them. And really, when it all boils down, I remember I looked at my father and I walked back in the bedroom and I seen him sitting there, and this realization came. A couple realization came. If you ever hear that the term progressive, disease is progressive, you ever hear this? You know what that means?
You're gonna die.
Oh. You know what it means, Logan? It's progressive.
Like a snowball effect.
Well, to me, what it means is that the consequences get worse. And I remember sitting at the Winco down here at the bottom of the street, and I had no friends. None. I've lost them. I got rid of them. I had no family. I had no one that would take my call. And I had a phone that was dead, a needle that was empty, and a crack pipe that was empty, and I had no money, and it was 20 degrees. And for the first time, I went, oh, this is bottom. And then I went, oh, it's progressive. It gets worse than this. and I didn't want it to get worse than that. And so when you understand progression, you understand that it gets worse than every time. And then you understand that you don't want it to get worse, and so you stop because of the pain, theoretically. And then you look at the people around you and you realize there's nothing they can do for you. And I looked at my father and I went, this is the first time this man can't help me. There's nothing he can do for me. It's all me. And then you find yourself doing some shit. Whatever. Okay, questions. Back from Texas, the gang. Hey, little baby. She doesn't read the room. She's look at the gleeful, look at how gleeful she is, because she doesn't know. She doesn't know. She doesn't know what to be scared of. She doesn't know. She'll figure it out soon. She'll be just as discontent as the rest of us. You know? Neurotic and obsessive. You know? Lay down with my neurosis. That's what I do every night. Oh, my neurosis is back. Here you guys are. How do I not worry all day and then lay my head down and all of a sudden head full of worry? What the fuck is going on? Thinking about shit that I shouldn't even, what? Now I can't sleep. But all day I don't think about that shit. And I think about it like at 5 in the morning and I can't get back to sleep. And then I do finally get back to sleep for like a half hour and I wake up like at 8 o'clock and then I don't even remember that I thought about that shit. But at 5:30 it was the most important shit. I have to get up and do something about it. I gotta call Jim. That guy's been fucking me over for a long time. I'm gonna call him. You know what I mean? I can't believe he said that to me. I'll call him when I wake up. I wonder if he's up now. It's 5:30. Get up. What? What do you know? You see? So can me and Ginny find compassion for the other side? Can we find and understand the people that disagree with us? The people that want to give drug addicts meals and homes, and are they wrong? Who knows? They don't produce many results yet. I always say, if you want to find it, where would you go? They go, AA doesn't work. I go, okay. Treatment doesn't work. And I go, okay. Well, let's go around. And what I want you to do, tell anyone that says treatment and AA don't work, just say this to them. Say, what I want you to do is I want you to find a person who used to be addicted to drugs, maybe even homeless, and now find a person that's flourishing. Where would you go? And you need to find them within an hour. I guarantee that person would drive to an AA meeting. Oh, it doesn't work though. Except it's the only place you can find people that used to be a treatment. Hey. Yeah. Yeah. And then there's the other subset of the population. A lot of people don't do shit to quit drugs and alcohol. A lot of people you never hear from. They just stop one day. That's true. You find people that go, I've been sober 30 years. I just had enough. It's usually a guy that back in the 80s, though, that was doing cocaine. It's not usually a heroin addict or a fentanyl addict that just quits.
My ex-husband did that.
Yeah. So guys that did a lot of booze and cocaine in the 80s, they all just stopped one day. I would argue that maybe their dealer just left town. I would say the difference between a cocaine addict and a cocaine casual user, it's just a good dealer. Once you find a good coke dealer, you're an addict. I had one that lived in the apartment next to me, and I could just knock on the wall. And tell me you ain't screwed then. He would slide it under the door. Ooh. I went from a casual user to 120 pounds. What else? Who wants to talk? Any questions for Ginny? Anything you want to share?
For you to say hello if you'd like.
I just- You and Jenny were the stars of the thing, there's no doubt. There were 180 people there. And almost, we'd say without fail, people were more interested in what you two had to say than the prosecutor or the mayor or anything, because they hadn't heard it. So
Well,
I
you know,
understand your frustration working with those kinds of people. But we don't have to work with them. We want to work in this community and convince our community what the path is. Because those other people aren't ever going to help us. They haven't helped anybody for decades.
yeah, that's
Well, arguably, they're not helping each other and they're helping themselves and they're funded through the industry.
That's what I
The
mean.
industry is a business model
Yeah.
and a business model requires
Yeah.
repeat clients and we all play right into their hands
Mhm.
because we don't believe in ourselves and we believe that maybe they have the answer. And so we go and we look at people who have degrees and things like that as though they know what they're talking about. It's, and so when Art and I show up on the scene and don't really say anything profound, it sounds profound because we've all been convinced that there's just no way out. And that's the biggest lie ever told. And you find people that you can follow their tail lights in the very places that Art was talking about. And so and it talks about it in recovery literature, the therapeutic value of one addict helping another is without parallel. It talks about that in scripture. It talks about it in all kinds of historical religious texts that, are you like, okay, so I climb mountains. I know a lot of people that read about mountain climbing or that do rock climbing in gyms. I'm gonna go up Mount Rainier with the illiterate guy that can't read a book.
Mhm.
That's climbed the mountain 50 times before I'm ever gonna go up with the guy that's read the technical book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So,
Well, and another analogy would be if everyone in Seattle just hit the streets and was walking around with a knee that needed surgery, we wouldn't and then just some lady named Nancy shows up and goes, well, I got a nonprofit that helps people with bad knees. Well, no, you need a knee surgeon.
Right.
They need a knee surgeon. They need two people to help them, actually. They would need a knee surgeon and then somebody that's had knee surgery that can walk, that can teach them how to walk again after they've had the surgery.
instead of giving them the scooters and the
Yeah,
wheelchairs
yeah,
and the crutches
yeah.
that the state is funding.
Yeah, we'll
giving
just
them
bring
money,
them all crutches.
People have broken knees.
Yeah, or make sure they don't have to walk anymore. We'll just carry them around. And now everybody goes, let's help them. And you got 40 nonprofits start carrying guys around.
You have case
And
management.
the guy's like, hey, I don't ever have to get my knee fixed. This is killer. There's a guy named, I can't remember his name. He's out of LA. He's a huge recovery advocate. The guy that Andrea loves, Denton, Grant Denton. And he told me a story. He said they were homeless and they lived by a church, and every day at noon they used to go over to the church feed the lunch at the church. And Grant was running the homeless camp. He was the leader, And so pretty soon Grant was like, let's just see if they'll bring it over. So instead of the guys getting up and going to the church and getting in line, they started just going, I think these dipshits will bring it over. And they did. And so now they didn't have to get up and go out of their tent anymore. The people just brought the food right over to the camp, and they didn't have to, And that's kind of the story of that's what I try to tell these people on the panel. The drug addicts are smarter than all you guys.
100%.
They're smarter than you.
What drug addict isn't gonna go for lowest hanging fruit?
Yeah.
I'm saying, like, we're opportunists.
yeah. Oh, I can go steal shit? You're not gonna arrest me?
I was like,
Let's do it. Lowe's is like just a guy sitting at a desk with a big brick of money, and everyone's just walking in going, thank you. Lowe's is just funding the whole thing. I said 10 years ago. I go, Lowe's and Home Depot funds the drug habit. Lowe's, Home Depot, Safeway, Walmart, they're funding it. And they went great. We don't have to, we're not gonna hire security anymore. Oh, we can't arrest or we'll get sued. We can't touch them or you're gonna sue us? Perfect. We'll just let them steal whatever shit they want to steal and we'll just raise the price. You guys are morons. You think Walmart's taking a hit? Think Home Depot's taking a hit? Give me a break. You know? I don't know. Can't arrest them. Okay, well, we don't need security then.
Thank God they could arrest us back in 2012, dude.
Shit, I was scared to steal a pack of gum. You know? Remember when you were a kid? Go to the store. Jesus. Nowadays, I've stolen in my recovery. I went to Home Depot. I was getting this safe, and it was like a $400 safe. Yeah, I bring the safe down. First of all, they make me climb up in the rack to get the safe myself. And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm not a gymnast. But anyways, I climb up in the thing and I get the safe down, hand it to this kid. I walk up to the counter. I'm waiting 10 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm starting to get a little irate. Hey, can I pay for this? I want to buy this. No one's coming. Goes 25 minutes. 25 minutes, I looked around, I go, I'm stealing this. And I put it on my shoulder and I walked out. And I stole it. No one even came. I announced to him I'm stealing it. That's how. Also, I gotta tell you, Angie stole a bra. You want to tell him how you stole a bra?
Remember, I don't remember, it was like an accidental and then it became, I don't remember. I don't remember, I have to think, I'll remember it after this, on the spot, I don't remember.
Addie. Who you talking to?
Oh, friend.
Yeah. Is she? Man. Even the kids these days. You know, if I was at my whole governmental parental structure system was here. And they were all here because they want to talk about me possibly getting my car back. You know what I mean? God, I'd be sitting in the front row listening to art. You know what I mean? You know? Shh, Dad, quiet. Trying to hear what's happening. You're paying for this program. Don't you only hear every word he has to say? Shut up. You know? Sad. That's the kids these days, ain't they? I call the kids these days the human 2.0s. They got no shame. They got no guilt. They gaslight you. You tell them to change, they say, you're a horrible parent. You know? Parents are going to their kids and going, hey, maybe you could help with the dishes tonight and just put away your own plate or something. Kids are like, no, Jim. By the way, you're a piece of shit. Whoa. You've done a horrible job at raising me. Okay, sure. I hope little A ain't a human 2.0. The human 2.0s, dude. The first generation of humans that feel qualified to judge their parents. It's the first generation. None of us older generation even considered rating our parents on a scale of 1 to 10. Not even a consideration. They were our parents, much like we don't rate our own hands. They're our parents like these are our hands. You don't sit around and go, these are shitty hands. You know what I mean? They're just your hands. Like they're your parents. You didn't go to school. None of us went to school and talked about our parents not listening to us or anything. And not once did we ever feel oppressed. We never like go, my parents took my car away. It's just like, we all knew why the car was gone. I fucked up. My car's gone. These kids are like, can you believe they took? You committed a high-speed chase. And the human 2.0 is little gaslighters, man. They make you feel like shit about yourself. Find yourself. Believe me, I have. They do. I've been helping people doing best I can 15 years. That's little 17-year-old kid tells me I'm driving home. Well, maybe I am a piece of shit. You know? That's how it is. What else? Cole,
Here.
are you here for the girls or the content?
What's that?
I'm trying to figure out my answer right now.
Okay, good. 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 Figure it out. The girls or the content?
Well, obviously
The girls. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. That's a good answer. Yeah, I don't think you would have wandered in here without the influence of. Yeah.
winning the lottery is possible too.
Yeah. Are you? What do you got going on?
I'm just figuring. I'm going through my IOPs right now. Got like 9 hours a week of Zoom calls and counseling, extra all hour of. I got like 11, 12 hours. I'm talking like 40 hours of work. I'm overwhelmed right now.
Oh, really? And that's for people who don't know, intensive outpatient. Right?
Oh yeah.
Where are you doing that at?
On my laptop.
No.
Oh, through Charlie Health.
Oh, that's like a new nationwide thing, huh?
It's terrible reviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got 9 different counselors every week, and every week is different.
Do they pop a movie in and go watch that, you guys?
Sometimes we'll do the same thing for 3 hours straight.
Yeah.
It's really not really counseling.
Is that a court ordered thing?
It's technically self-admit, but I could have done like 3 more extra months in jail instead, or go to treatment and then get out early.
So you got out early.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not self-admit.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing work instead of self-admit, so.
I love it when people tell me that. I'm here on my own, Art. I'm here on my own. I also go to prison if I'm.
At least I'm not
I also am facing 3 years if I don't. Okay. More questions.
So before we have another question, can I just did the random.
We haven't had any
generator.
questions.
So I'm so excited that the winner of this is actually here tonight. So first, all of you guys on Zoom, so I just want to show you, I'm gonna screen share. I'm gonna, this is how I'm doing the drawing. So I have this random, generator. And I put the numbers 101 to 199 in there, and then it randomly picked a number. So the random number was 166. And then what I did was I went to the Run for Recovery page and I searched who was 166. And the winner is Logan. Right.
Why do I take Logan as a guy that if you went in his room, he's got 100 pairs of shoes?
I do.
Yeah. I just knew it. I just knew it. Yeah.
I probably have like 30 pairs, but.
Okay, let's do this. Cole, why do you use drugs?
I don't even trip them.
Why did you?
It fit my lifestyle.
Fit your lifestyle.
And
How's
then
it?
I mean.
Yeah, you like, I mean, you what? You like you like to party?
No,
No. Okay, how to fit your lifestyle?
really hard to explain, but you know, just kind of being a freelance, odd job guy, like fabricator, tree business. You know, work on cars, do landscape. I mean, I do everything. There's nothing I really can't do, and you know, also like keeping like security around the property. So like sleep didn't really fit my schedule.
So you like meth?
Yes, sir.
All right. I want you to just do something for me. And all you guys that are here and have used drugs and are currently or not currently or getting sober or whatever. You know, when I was 37, I stopped using drugs. That was 15 years ago. And for me, I think it was that question that I just asked you was a very important question in my life. Okay. And I don't think people take it seriously enough. Okay. If you don't, you know, okay, so then you plan to, you know, with that answer, then you plan to totally give up that lifestyle.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so I think that it's a little bit, the depth of that question is a lot, you know? Do you know that? Do you know that all of you doesn't want to use drugs?
Yeah, it's for the first time in my life, I've actually, like every other time that I've ever gone through any sort of like having to get sober because your living accommodations, they're nobody's playing no shit, you know. You can't really risk it. This is the first time in my life that I realized that like I don't have that in me anymore to want to like when we're done with this, I'll show you my BA wristband I got in jail and put it next to my face, and that's what I use in my wallet. I look at that every time I feel like I want to go get high. I look.
What's
at
a BA wristband?
It's your mugshot
Oh,
for when you go to jail.
okay.
And, that's what I use every time I just open it up and look at my BA bracelet, and I'm like, I don't even want to look like that no more.
Okay, Mom, what are you thinking? What's on your mind?
Just wanting to get better. I'm having to learn a lot.
Mhm. What are you worried about?
And family,
What would failure be?
scary. Because he's not using it anymore, and he'll probably use the same amount, and it'll probably kill him.
All he uses meth?
I don't know.
Do you do fentanyl?
Yeah, he's used fentanyl.
Can we talk after this? Unless she knows better.
No, that's not true. That's not how it works here. Yeah, yeah.
I'll be honest with you, but
No.
I have tried to do a lot. Yes, a lot of shot. I forgot my mom was even sitting right there when I told you that a minute ago. So she now knows more than she's supposed to know.
You can't protect your mom from the truth.
Yes, I can.
She already knew.
Yeah.
That's one thing we already know. Mom, every mom in this room, ain't no son ever done nothing that the mom didn't know.
Just kind of takes the worrying
Well, some
down a
don't.
little bit.
No, it doesn't.
When you don't know.
You knew,
I knew, but.
yeah,
But he gives us stories all the time, you know, they're shocking,
yeah.
you know? He's almost 3 years sober and he was a meth user. Oh.
Here's what I'm saying. And what did you learn from tonight? Remember about that thing I said about doubt? Okay. You know what doubt equals? Doubt equals humility. You know, to really to be humbled by this thing, to be in early recovery and to not know. Do you know what 100% of people that relapse say? 100%. 100% of people that relapse around here, what do they say? They're done with drugs, right? They all say it.
They think they got it all figured out.
You know, I don't know, man. Is a better answer. I don't know if I'm done. I want to be. I'm trying to be, but I've said it before. You know, I go on. Right now, my struggle is food, and I'm in a pattern with it where I start eating right for like a week, and I start really feeling myself. You know what I mean? I'm in a restaurant. I'm ordering. Hey, let me just get a chicken breast and some broccoli, please. You know, and I'm looking around the restaurant. Oh my God, look at them. They're eating nachos. How dare they put that shit in their body, these people? You know, I mean, I'm like that. Right, you know, and I start telling her, I don't think I'm going back to it this time, you know. Yeah. She's like, you know, and then it starts the same every time, you know. Let's have some baked potatoes tonight. You know, let's have some fries. And then I do this rationalization thing because Angie always gives me the rationalization. She goes, well, it's God made food.
Yeah.
So God made food always I'm like, yeah, it's God made food, French fry. You know. And so now I'm eating the French fries, but then by the next day, Cokes, burgers, I'm right back in it, full on. So if you take anything from tonight, and you knew, and you know, one of the things that I'd like is that understand something, that there is parts of us that are dormant. You see, so that part of you that wants to use drugs is dormant right now. You know, you're not hurt. You're not in turmoil. you're not tempted. But what I don't know, I don't really like in AA when they say my disease is doing push-ups and all that bullshit. I don't like none of that stuff, but I do understand that when I get real close in here, there is controversy. My ego isn't just one voice, or myself that we call a self. It's not one voice. It's a committee. There's a committee that'll say, go punch that guy in the face, and then right after a guy that'll come up and say, why'd you do that? There's a guy that tells me during the day I'm not going to eat bad and says, no cookies, there's no way you're going to do that tonight. But somehow at 9 o'clock, a different part of me shows up. And there's night person that shows up, and night person doesn't care about how I feel tomorrow. It just doesn't care. I don't understand it, and I don't understand why 9 o'clock at night seems to be the cutoff, for me to do dumb shit, And so there's parts of us that have compassion for people and parts of us that have hatred for people. And if you get real quiet, you'll understand that you're ran by a committee. You'll understand that there's different voices here. They're all of a different age and they're all of a different stature and they're all just in here. And when we're into our addiction or we're into drugs, there is always, even when we're going to do drugs, there's another part of us that knows we're going to hurt people. That knows. That's the compassion. The compassion is I understand what it feels like to do good for a certain period of time and then be in your car and knowing you're going to screw up again, but hating yourself and not being able to stop it. It's a total out of body experience. I know what it's like to be in a drug treatment program for 60 days and say, I'm done, I'm done, I'm done. And then on day 61, find myself going to my dealer's house. And I know what it's like to hyperventilate. I don't know if any of you have hyperventilated because you've done something in your life that's so bad you think nobody will accept you again. And it leads to like this crying and this hyperventilation. I know what it's like. So I understand, and tonight was, for me, it's about understanding that not knowing is the proper position. That doubt is the proper position. You combine that doubt, and you have to have faith to combat that doubt. But I'm not talking about doubt like living in doubt and living scared. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about doubting your own knowingness. To go, maybe there's goddamn something I don't know. Maybe there's something I don't know that will allow me to forgive that person, that will allow me to have compassion for them, that will allow me to, if I did know it about him, I would understand. And that we search for that knowingness to relieve ourselves of our anger. That actually the key to getting rid of our anger is understanding. The key to getting rid of our anger is to say, I seek that understanding of you so I don't have to feel angry. And rather, I can feel compassion so I can find where we're the same, not different. People say, I don't understand drug addiction. Really? I guarantee you do some shit. I guarantee you do the same thing. I guarantee you do something to feel different. It's always a person like smoking cigarettes. I don't understand drug addiction. What the fuck? Really? Well, it's like this if you don't understand it. It feels horrible in here and you want out. There it is. And you figured out in your life through experience that there's a quick way to feel different. You know exactly how you're going to feel when you do it. And that's a very, very tempting proposition for folks.
Art, I think one of the reasons that people. When they do that, they remember like the initial high. But they forget how. The whole being entrenched in it and how they feel shitty after a while. They can't eat, they got no money and they're on the streets and nobody's accepting them anymore because they're being an a-hole. And then when you get back into it, and I think that's what perpetuates the hate cycle.
Well, I don't think anyone here would think that we necessarily forget that.
I just ignore it.
we disregard it. Yeah, we disregard it and we hope that won't,
It won't be
it won't,
all as bad as.
this time I'll mitigate it,
Yeah.
you know? There's a movie that used to be played all the time called Pleasure is Unwoven. And the guy describes addiction in this way, and it's the only part that I can remember from the movie that seemed to have a lot of value. But he said that he described addiction in this way, addicts in this way. The guy pulls the gun out and says, "If you take that hit, I'm going to shoot you in the head." And a normal person would decline. But a drug addict says, "I'm going to take the hit, and then I'm going to talk you out of shooting me in the head." And that's it. We're going to worm our way out of those circumstances once we use it. But and that's what the disease is. If it's a disease, in my opinion, it's the system that we have in place, and the system, the definition that one would use is the justification and rationalization system that I have that allows me to continue to use drugs regardless of consequences. It's what shows up when someone on meth takes a big hit in a trap house and goes to the bathroom and looks in the mirror and sees that one of their tooth just fell out. Now, a normal person might go, "Oh shit, this meth's really screwing me up." But a meth addict looks and goes, "I'll get new teeth later. It's all good. Still got some left." And that's the system. The same system that allows a person that smokes cigarettes to go buy one pack. Why? Why do we know people that have smoked for 10 years go to the store and still buy one pack? Are you a moron? You would never see somebody go buy one half roll of toilet paper. But the reason that smokers buy one pack is what?
Limiting themselves.
They're going to quit tomorrow. It's my last pack. Everybody up at the store today is buying their last pack. You know, you never seen anyone order a pallet. You know, I got a pallet of cigarettes coming, but you'll order a pallet of toilet paper. You know you're going to need that shit, and you don't feel guilt about the toilet paper. But the cigarettes, you buy a carton, you feel guilty as hell. Plus, you smoke like a chimney. My person I bought my first treatment center from was named Cindy Brown, and she was an avid smoker, and she never felt no guilt about it. She had conquered the rationalization or the part about it, and she smoked like this. You got in her car, her ashtray was flowering like there was ashes all over the car, and in the back seat was 2 cartons. And she smoked she filled the whole treatment. Anyone that went to her treatment center, and she talked like, you know, you got God's got it for it. Anyways. Okay.
Which one?
Tomorrow morning, if you need to, please shoot me a text and I'll get you.
Well, I called up.
11, and then if you can help us out by getting focus out in your community, please take a stack. We're getting down to it. We're about 3 days away. So please take posters. We appreciate the help and get registered yourself.
I wanna just kind of, it was an odd night tonight. I wanna just really because this is just where I'm at. And I talk from where I'm at. And where I'm at is exactly what I explained tonight. Just seeing this world right now and seeing everybody know everything and seeing everybody fight and seeing the condition of my people on Facebook and seeing how righteous everyone is. And I'm talking both sides. Just the righteousness is disgusting. Everybody thinking they're right. Everybody thinking the other side is crazy and that they know everything. And, and to me, it's like, it's causing this knowingness of what everybody knows is just causing this depression. And all I wanted to give to people tonight was a little bit of not knowing. Maybe we have a little doubt in our own minds. Maybe we have a little bit of not knowing, and maybe that'll lead to a little compassion. And then maybe to combat the doubt and to combat all of it, we can combat it with a little faith, and that can combat our fears. And a little more faith. For me, this is what I'm working on. Maybe a little more faith, a little less knowing, a little less being a what, telling people what's what. And I'm trying, but it's an odd position for me to be in because it's kind of my job. And I'm still trying to decline. So you know, to get that relief, that's kind of what I wanted to give tonight was like, hey, maybe we don't need to know everything. Maybe that's the point. Maybe my son, he lives in wonder and it's because he doesn't know everything. And watch out when he starts knowing, because that'll lead to his discontent. Because as soon as you know, then you know how it's supposed to be. And it's not how it's supposed to be. And that leads to the discontent. So thank you.